This is the truth behind the breakup of the show Martin. Wow. Martin was the first black television show that involved a young couple. All of the black TV shows that we saw that were successful were black couples who were in their 40s, who had been together 20 years. You've never seen a dating young 20-year-old couples trying to date. We never really saw that on television. So this was the first time ever we were seeing this, like young couples and they friends and what goes on. And it's funny because all of these things happen right around your house. Martin was the most relatable show to the culture. They were in tune with everything that was 90s. Everything that was pop, everything that was hip hop or business. They were a positive show. They tackled every subject from race, discrimination. They touched on all of these things. Stereotypes. And still, the show was funny. It was great. The writing was witty. And Martin, his personality was just off the chart. He fit television. Now, when HBO partnered with Fox to come up with this show, because he was the host of Def Comedy Jam on HBO, and they was talking about doing this show called Martin too. Because Eddie Murphy was the guy that really came in and sparked this phenomenon back in '92 when they did Boomerang, and said this guy Martin Lawrence is just hilarious, you know. And Eddie told him, was like, hey, you know, like Russell Simmons and all those guys, he told Russ, you know, this is the guy you should give a shot to, you know, like he's ready, like right now ready. So when they gave him the shot to host Def Comedy Jam, it was a free fall because they had other hosts, other people they wanted to host the show, but no one can control the show. When Martin came out there, he had total control of the audience, everybody. They listened to him. When Martin said shut up, they shut up. So he could definitely hold his own and host the show. So based on his popularity, they got the show Martin. And when he was casting for his show, he wanted to put Gina in there, to Tisha Campbell, because Tisha Campbell was the new it girl in the 90s because of House Party 1 and 2. So they was like, well, she's the it girl, you know, let's put her in there. And they became good friends. And she was roommates with Tina Arnold, who was, they've been knowing each other since childhood, and they used to sing in the choir together. They were roommates at the time. And he was going to bring her in. And Martin used to actually talk to Tina Arnold. But he didn't think about casting her for the lead. But she told her, she was like, girl, you should come down there. It's for Martin's show. You know, he's got a show. You should come down there and read for the part of the best friend. And her best friend ended up being Takesha Arnold. And she beat out a couple other girls. Lark Voorhees was one of the friends she beat out. And she beat out the girl that also was in the house party, who played Gina's friend in House Party. She beat her out for the role. So now the cast starts. They got Tommy because he always played Tommy basically in his movies, and his name is Thomas, and everybody called him Tommy for real. So it fit. Tommy from Harlem Nights was Tommy in real life, so it was fitting that his name stayed Tommy on the show. They was like, we can't change your name is Tommy. So the jokes, the people and the fans and their output ended up being the jokes on the show that went through the season. Because fans would ask, like, man, Tommy's always coming from work and stuff, but they never say what Tommy do. So on the show, that became part of the joke. Tommy, what do you do? And they just kept that going, but the fans' input ended up being implemented on the show. So that was key. Now, when they started the show, everybody was single, basically. It was all a union. Everybody was enjoying the ride. It was a successful show. Starting out off the gate, Martin was on fire. Tisha Campbell started dating Dwayne Martin. And when she started dating Dwayne Martin from above the rim, and it was getting pretty serious, this is when problems were going to start to arise. Now, this is where things started to take a turn, and people saying, oh, the show got out of control once this started happening. And I'm here to tell you what really happened. Now, the rumor is Martin was a jealous man. He got jealous because he always was in love with Tisha Campbell, and he wanted her and got jealous when she started dating Dwayne Martin, and did everything to split them up and trying to have her on the set because he wanted her, and it drove her crazy. So her sexual harassment claims against him. And let's get to the realistics of what happened. Now, here's what happened. She started dating Dwayne Martin. Dwayne Martin used to come to the set to watch the show, watch the filming. So they're doing an episode, they're doing a set, and Martin's kissing on Gina, touching on Gina, and all that stuff. And he's like talking to people on the set, like to the writers, like, why does he gotta touch her like that? Why does he gotta do this and do that? And he's telling her, Tisha Campbell, like, do y'all really have to touch that much? Like, I mean, the set, they yell cut, and he's still kissing and touching on you, playing around. She's like, oh, that's just Martin, being Martin. And Dwayne Martin is on the set basically saying, well, you got to stand up for yourself. You can't just let the network keep telling you or pushing you into doing stuff. You got to set boundaries for him. So he don't do as much. So Dwayne Martin was being a problem on the set. He didn't want them kissing that much. No open mouth kissing, no touching. He wanted to try to limit what Martin used to do on the show. And Martin, like, who is Dwayne Martin? Why is this guy even in here? So Martin barred him from coming on the set. And she didn't like that. And the other fact is that she also had a record that she was putting out. and Fox distributed the record and helped her, and she was upset that they didn't push, which was the name of the song too, Push Until You Get It Right. But Fox didn't really promote the album the way she was promised or thought, so she had a bad attitude about that coming on the set. They didn't believe, Fox didn't really believe the album was good, period. So they put enough marketing dollars in it as they were going to. And she wanted to be a musician. She wanted to be Beyonce before Beyonce. It's just the songs wasn't resonating with the people. She had a music video. The album really didn't do anything, but she started to take stuff out from the set. She was more temperamental on the set. And she was more defiant on what she would do and what she wouldn't do. So when Martin and them, they do the scene and all this kissing stuff, Martin was being defiant too against Dwayne Martin's rules. So on one shot, he did put his tongue in her mouth and grab her, you know, just like, screw you, Dwayne Martin. But what happened was, she was like, that's it, you know, I'm not taking this no more, you know, this type of treatment. And so she filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against Martin Lawrence, sexual harassment against HBO and Fox, and sued the show. Now, once she did that, she's like, I can't be around Martin Lawrence. So, for about a season and a half, they had to try to figure out what they were going to do about shooting for the show, for the season. Because Martin had changed now. And people believe because it was the success of Bad Boys that did this. Because of the success of Bad Boys, everyone thought Martin, they had to basically talk Martin into coming back to do this Martin Lawrence show. He was ready. He had 3 movie deals where he was writer, producer, everything. He had Thin Line he was working on. So he was like, I don't need this. I don't need the Martin show. I came back because I wanted you guys to have jobs. I don't need the Martin show. So when he came back to the show, it was for them. And to have this happen, he felt betrayed. And then he's dealing with Carl Payne in his situation. Carl Payne was like tired of Martin Lawrence yelling at him like, man, don't yell at me like a child. I'm not a child. I got it. You know, like, dude, I'm, you know, don't. He was like, oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. He was like, you would still be called Cockroach if it wasn't for me. People be calling you Cockroach. They call you Cole now. You still want to be known as a cockroach? You know, maybe we should call you Cockroach. That's it. Change the script. For now, he gonna be Cockroach again. That's his new nickname. We're gonna write that in the script. So Carl Payne just wouldn't back down. He's like, man, whatever, man. We can step outside. You know, he's that type of dude. So Martin stormed off the set. He was just more dark, more angry. Wouldn't joke and hang out with the crew the way he used to. He'd just do his scenes and go. So they had to film around the show, where they had episodes where he dreamed he was married to to Pam and all this stuff, and Gina got lost. And they basically did shows and episodes around her, but it wasn't the same show. Then they did the final episode, and everything was peace on the show, on the final episode, because everybody like, good, it's over. They were just ready to go do something else. But that was back then. Now it's an entirely different scenario. Everybody's in a better space, or they're happy with their position in life, or station in life rather. And everybody's working, so that's a blessing. Whenever you're in this business and you're still working, there you go. That is called a blessing. So I'm out. Hope you enjoyed this video. For those who love Martin, we weaved through all the rumors and BS and got straight to the truth. I'm out.